There is a person who ostensibly wants love very much. They are dating with intent. That is, dating with an intent to marry, to form a complete life with someone, to stop ever having to date anyone again. They don't hold back. They suggest a second date almost immediately, and a third one. They message constantly. They aren't shy to declare their feelings by the end of the first month. They buy little gifts. They hug a lot. They love holding hands. It is a hugely moving picture of love. And yet, there is a problem. Not with their sincerity. Not with their warmth. The problem is with the texture of the wanting itself. It is a wanting that has curdled, just slightly, into something that no longer quite resembles what love is supposed to look like. It has become urgent. It has become frightened. It has become, though they would never use this word, desperate. The difficulty is how much this person wants it to come right. They've been lonely for the longest time, arguably since they were a child. They did have love back then, but it was shattered or compromised to an extent that's never really been dealt with or understood. Maybe a beloved parent was emotionally unavailable, present in body, but somewhere else entirely in spirit. Maybe there were years of warmth followed by a sudden rupture, a divorce, a death, a sibling who needed everything and left nothing over. Maybe the love was there, but it was conditional. Offered when they performed well, withdrawn when they didn't. And so they learned very early on that love is not a steady thing, that it is not a given, that it must be earned, protected, monitored, and, most importantly, never, ever taken for granted. And now it doesn't feel like the world can ever be stable. Love always seems on the verge of getting extinguished. Nothing ever quite feels solid. That's why one has to move very fast and hold on tightly. That's why the gap between a first date and an I love you can feel not reckless but necessary. Because to wait is to risk. To wait is to leave a window open through which the whole thing might escape. And so they ask a lot of questions of the partner. Are you sure you're okay? Do you still care? Is this real? Not once, not twice, but in an ongoing loop that the partner, early on at least, finds touching, then tiring, then suffocating. The questions are not requests for information. They are bids for reassurance. And the cruel thing about reassurance is that it doesn't hold. It soaks in for an hour, maybe a day, and then the anxiety rises again and the questions must begin once more. It's because of worry. Worry about how safe love is. That the worried person often feels they need to raise their voice and ends up sounding harsh. Anger feels warranted, or at least becomes inevitable, when their partner has come home 10 minutes late. Those 10 minutes are not 10 minutes to this person. They are a symbol. They are evidence. They are the beginning of the end. It's because of worry that they start an argument about the partner's ex, who they suspect, the more they think about it, and they've thought about it all afternoon, may not be entirely off the scene. It's because of worry that they spoil a dinner in a restaurant by accusing their partner of flirting with the waiting staff. It's because of worry that they call their partner ungrateful and, in extremis, threaten to leave them, even though leaving is the last thing they want. The threat is not a plan. It is a test. Tell me you won't let me go. Tell me I matter enough that you'll fight to keep me here. They want so much to be reassured, to be told they matter. But they are so alarmed that it seems all they may really want to do is attack, criticize, create pressure, and destroy. They're like someone who is so terrified of dropping a precious vase that they grip it tighter and tighter until, inevitably, it cracks. And underneath all of it, beneath the accusations and the questions and the tight, anxious grip, there's a person who simply wants to be loved. Who wants, perhaps more than anything they have ever wanted, to one day wake up next to someone and feel, for even just a morning, that everything is going to be all right. That they are not going to be left. That they are enough. But here's the tragedy. The very behaviors that emerge from that wound, the urgency, the suspicion, the volatility, make it harder and harder for the partner to give them what they need. Because love, real love, cannot survive indefinitely under interrogation. It cannot thrive in a climate of constant suspicion. It cannot breathe when every disagreement is treated as a harbinger of abandonment. It can be dispiriting to be on the receiving end of love from someone who can't accept that love might be real. Eventually, the most patient lover may start to get fed up. They have told them again and again that they love them. They have spent an hour trying to unpick a fight about nothing. They have done everything to prove that they aren't having an affair with anyone at work. They have stressed that the weekend they have to spend by themselves has nothing to do with rejection and everything to do with catching up on their projects. And still, it isn't enough. Because it was never really about the ex, or the late arrival home, or the colleague at work. It was about something that happened long before this relationship began. Something that this partner cannot fix, no matter how many times they say the right words. Because the right words, spoken by the right person, in the present, cannot reach back through time and heal a wound made in the past. And so begins, by a terrible irony, the very thing the loving but worried person has feared from the start. One somber day, their lover tells them they just can't take it anymore. They need space. They don't have the energy to explain once more. They might walk out very suddenly and ask never to be disturbed again. And the person is left, as they have always feared they would be left, alone. And there is a part of them, a small and awful part, that is almost unsurprised. Of course, that part whispers, "This is what always happens. This is what always happens to me." In the story they have told themselves since childhood, that love is not safe, that love does not last, that love will always eventually find a reason to leave, is confirmed once more. What they cannot see, because they are inside the story rather than observing it from without, is that they have not simply been a passive victim of love's cruelty. They have, partly, not wholly but significantly, authored the ending themselves. Their fear of abandonment created the conditions that made abandonment more likely. Their hunger for reassurance exhausted the very person who was trying to provide it. This is not said to blame them. Blame is not the right instrument here. A person who is terrified of the dark is not to blame for being terrified of the dark. But it may be useful to observe, gently, carefully, that carrying a torch might help. This sorrowful person who loves with too much fear alerts us to a curious aspect of love, that wanting a safe relationship with too much intensity can be the very element that precludes us from getting it. That if we never enjoyed security in childhood, we may seek it with excessive urgency in adulthood, resulting in a double punishment and exclusion. The philosopher might call this an existential trap. The therapist might call it an anxious attachment style. But perhaps the simplest way to say it is this: some people are so afraid of losing love that they never quite let themselves have it. They stand with one foot in the relationship and one foot already pointed toward the exit. Not because they want to leave, but because they want to be ready. And readiness, in this case, looks a great deal like distance. And distance, it turns out, is not what love needs to grow. What might help, and this is easier to say than to do, easier to understand intellectually than to feel in the body, is something like trust. Not blind trust. Not the naive trust of someone who has never been hurt, but a grown-up, eyes open, slightly trembling trust. A willingness to say, I have been hurt before. I may be hurt again. And I am going to love this person anyway, because the alternative, to never fully love, to always hold back, to ration myself into safety, is not actually living. It means sitting with the discomfort of not knowing. It means allowing the partner to go away for the weekend without calling 17 times. It means hearing, I love you, and letting it land rather than immediately asking, but are you sure? It means, above all, noticing the difference between what is actually happening at the present, which may be quite good, quite safe, quite loving, and what happened in the past, which was painful, and which the nervous system has never quite stopped expecting to repeat. We need to believe that trust and goodness could be real to give them a chance to one day become so. Love, at its most demanding, asks us not only to open our hearts to another person, but to revise the story we have been telling ourselves about what love is capable of. For some of us, that revision is the hardest thing we will ever do. And it is also perhaps the most important.